If you want to see a well-directed, well-written, and well-acted story on the gritty realities of teenage baby farms and the interplay between teen pregnancy, power, and poverty, Mo Abudu's Baby Farm, which is currently showing on Netflix, is absolutely the series for you. This five-part series was recently released on Netflix, but I've only seen the first two episodes, so that's where I will base this review on. As it happens, I am actually currently spoiled for choice for what to review because there's Suki, there's Baby Farms, and there's Funke Akindele's Finding Me. Suki was headlined, well, at least at the start, by Toby Bakare. It's a very gritty story about an hour plus. The Finding Me, which would have been my preferred one, I found it's so long. It's about 2 hours, 45 minutes. I don't know, man. It was really stressful to get into. And so I decided to go on the Baby Farms because I could take it bite size, right? So here we are. Baby Farm starts out with a scene involving childbirth where a weeping Ebun, played by Genovevah Umen gives birth to a child and who the doctors unfortunately confirmed to be stillbirth. And this gritty, dark scene with white doctors hovering over a sweating teenage mother sets the tone for the rest of the story. We hop over to Abia State and we are introduced to this uncompleted building where we take part of this uncompleted building romance where the girl, Adana, played by Onyinye Oromo, who for some reason comes third on the cast list despite being the main character as far as I'm concerned, tells her boyfriend that she is pregnant. Now, my guy expresses shock but then promises to sort this stuff out. But since men are scum and love that is fashioned in uncompleted buildings cannot be complete, he immediately abandons her to Lagos while she has to bear the brunt of her parents' anger. Now, she decides to go on his trail and leaves in the middle of the night in order to arrive in Lagos and find the guy. And she does this with an address which his sister had managed to pass on to her when she had gone to look for him. I don't know how much time passed from when she got the address from the sister in their village or city till when she actually arrives at his address in Lagos, because it turns out that he is no longer living there. So, alone and lost in the big city, Adana has to basically just look for like odd jobs or whatever to survive. I appreciate the brevity of these opening scenes. It was very short, very to the point, and it just guided me straight onto the whole vibe of the story very, very quickly. Like, I really liked it. There was, okay, you know what? I'll talk about my thoughts towards the at the end when I'm doing the verdict. But let's just go on. So now we are then introduced to some more characters at a charity event that is being hosted by the Evans Foundation Clinic. We have Evans and Barbara, the white couple. I think they are couple because he once alluded to a diamond ring later. I don't know. They both run the Evans Foundation Clinic where they take care of teens with unwanted pregnancies. Now the weird thing about this whole party is that at the event, they give Mr. Evans Humanitarian of the Year award. I didn't get that because this is his own event. It's like a Dangote event where the Dangote head of HR gives Aliko Dangote the Humanitarian Businessman of the Year award. Should it not be like an independent body? I don't know. I don't know. But it seems nothing concerns Dr. Evans and humility. We also have the power couple, Cherise and Akin. Now, Cherise, played by Rita Dominic, is a UK-based actress that is currently in Nigeria to shoot a movie. The couples are famously twins, like on their own, like Akin is the twin as well as Cherise, but both are currently childless, and their long-held desire for twin children also happens to be common knowledge in celebrity gossip circles. At this event, Barbara from the Evans Foundation reaches out to Shanice and says that she can help with reducing the red tape so that she can get an adopted baby faster than usual. As it happens, Shanice and Ake have not been able to adopt because even in the UK because there's some high-profile drug charges that have been preferred against her husband in the past. And so, since it's public information and it can easily be seen by anyone in charge of an adoption agency, yeah, it basically just puts them out of the running immediately for actual legal adoption. Adana, having been unable to find to locate her boyfriend, is currently working as a cleaner in some nice house, and unfortunately, she begins to show signs of her pregnancy at her cleaning job. As it happens, she is discovered and immediately fired. So therefore, she can no longer afford a place to live to. So out on the street she goes, where she then happens to meet up with a hoe who links her up with the with the Evans Foundation. I love how unkempt Adana looks like between from one scene to another. You would actually believe that she's a woman who is completely down on her luck and just willing to just do anything to find somewhere to sleep or someone that will take care of her in her pregnant state. This prostitute guides her on to the Evans Foundation for money. And here you get another inkling that, okay, something is not quite right. I mean, the movie name has basically spoiled it. But yeah, I like the way the anticipation, the tension sort of builds up throughout the story. Adana is welcomed by Sister Barbara, which is what the white woman is called. And Sister Barbara gives her the lay of the place, welcomes her, gives her some good food, and informs her that she is welcome to stay with the foundation only if she will be willing to give up her unwanted or less privileged pregnancy for adoption. Since she has nowhere else to go and since she is not even on talking terms with her parents, they try to compel her just to let her know that she will be giving up the child to a family who would be able to provide and care for it when the time comes. Now, at this meeting, Adana happens to meet Ebun, that's the girl who at the beginning had lost the baby. Adana is unsure about this whole thing, especially as they were giving her a tour when she runs into another pregnant teen there named who was actually shouting at her to stay clear of the place. But Ebon wins out in the end, and Adana decides to stay and give up her baby. After she has seen all the trappings of comfort that she had not seen in a long time. Credit where credit is due. Onyinye Eromo or Oromo makes really short work of this role. Honestly, I really, really, really like her acting. She just makes it look so real. So shortly after this, MM's sister, some lady who had apparently been looking for on the outside, walks into the clinic with a missing persons poster. She asks Sister Barbara if her possibly pregnant sister was holed up in the clinic, but Barbara quickly denies it and sends her on her merry way. Ooh. So we have more undertones that things are not as they seem with this place. I like the way it's going. It's giving me good vibes. I mean, good for my enjoyment, not good for the people that are involved in the matter. So Adana spends the first night in her own room, feeling very good about it. It was a good way to draw her in, your own bed, your own stuff. Because the very next day, she's moved to the dormitory, where there are other makers, which is a word that the overseers and the people in this place used to describe the girls. I wasn't super comfortable with the word because it kind of tips the hand of the place very early. I don't think the title was necessary. Yes, they are makers, but I don't think they should have just gone around calling themselves makers. Because what if like some security official or government official just heard them being referred to? I don't know. It's like red flags early on. Now, on her first full night with the girls in the dormitory, the lady who had been screaming at her to get out of the place, falls into labor, though secretly, since she first managed to leave the room first when the contraction started to go into the toilet. She was unfortunately also seen by the security people on the security camera, so they made a beeline for her. Adana followed her and tried to call the doctors, but quickly stops her because she really doesn't want her baby to be taken away. The baby finally comes through, as do the security at the same time, who immediately take the newborn baby and away and also choke Adana into unconsciousness. And so after 43 minutes, we have the end of episode one. I thought I thought it was really nice, and I just could not wait. I just moved on to the episode two immediately, and episode two opens up with the death of who is killed by lethal injection while the doctors, that's the two white people, show her her baby, who is also later given up for adoption to unsuspecting new parents who thought they were legally adopting an unwanted baby. Now it was a very well done scene. The next morning, Adana wakes up and sees that is not on her bunk bed and begins to ask, Where's Where's MM?" But she doesn't really get any answers as to why the bunk is empty. She's not very happy with the explanations from Sister Barbara. And on a whim, she looks at the whole setup of the place. She looks at the camera. She just thinks about everything that happened. And she was like, nah, I'm not doing this shit anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. And fortunately, that is where her problems begin. They end up locking her up because she becomes really hysterical about regaining her freedom, which is expected if your freedom is threatened. Now, Ebun later discovers the missing persons poster that MM's sister had brought to the clinic in the garbage can while she was cleaning. She also endeavors to talk to Adana in her cell, begging her to have a rethink about leaving the place and being very troublesome, just so that she can be let out of the cell and in order to be able to give birth to her child safely and in comfort. She must have convinced the authorities because soon Adana is released into Ebun's care, whereupon she becomes obsessed with the idea of escaping, and the route of escape would be using the big laundry trolley. I like how the camera first informed us by tracking her eyes as she realizes that the trolley would be a good way to go. I really liked it. The movie was very. I like everything about it. I really like I like the camera work too sometimes. She tries to enlist Ebu to help her, culminating in one of my favorite scenes so far. So these people, they are gisting, they're talking surreptitiously in front of the toilet when all of a sudden we hear the toilet flush and they realize that they may have been talking in front of, they may have been overheard, only for the person who would come out to be the dumb girl, a lady who we were briefly introduced to earlier on when Adana first entered this place. And now she was simply described as she no fit talk, not being able to speak. So I think the idea is maybe she's deaf and dumb. I'm not sure, but I definitely know that she's dumb. I love this scene because you're just so sure that they are finished. Whoever is coming out is going to rat on them, and then you realize that the person who is possibly catching them is deaf, so couldn't have heard anything. I thought it was really well done, and it's a good example of that Chekhov's gun thing that I talk about so much in many of these reviews. A concept which is severely lacking in Funke Akindele's Finding Me, which makes it quite tedious to review. Like, I have some scripts, I wrote some words, but I'm like, how do I begin to explain this thing about the childbirth and the adoption towards I'm like, this is just so stressful writing, and it made it easier for me to just skip on that movie and review this one instead. Shanice and Akin, the celebrity couple, after a lot of thought and a lot of weeping, decide to go see the Evans Foundation people and find the baby, legal or not. They are ready to sidestep bureaucracy, and they managed to convince themselves that they were doing the right thing. So they found a way to rationalize it. And for some weird reasons, when they arrive at the place, they are talking about twins, because they are twins. And maybe at this particular fact of the story then makes me believe that perhaps it's possible that in future Adana, when she finally gives birth, will have twins, and that's where the whole wahala will start. Well, start again. Actually, this whole thing has been one big wahala for her. We soon see that Ebun is being, well, naturally inseminated, much to the display of Dr. Barbara, who thinks it's too early after her last delivery. She always seems to be complaining. The good doctor decides to put her mouth to better use while he's watching live feed from the insemination. Now, a blogger on the trail of Shanice and Akin arrived at the Evans Foundation clinic to ask the doctors why the celebrities were seen there recently, and is quickly chased out. At about the same time that Adana finally manages to escape the facility into this laundry basket that she has been fantasizing about. and she managed to get herself loaded into a truck, into a bus via the basket. At the very last moment, the security people discovered that Adana stood away on the truck, and they stop it right at the gate and bring her out, not realizing that the blogger was actually still outside recording. And that's where episode 2 and, well, the material for this review ends, because that's all I've seen up till now. All right then, so let's get to the review. In general, I think it's really well shot. It's well written. Like, if you notice, I didn't make many jokes. Like, it's serious. It's gritty. It's straight to the point, and I appreciate that it's tightly shot. Each of these episodes are about 43 or so minutes, and there's so much story that was just packed into it. No unnecessary fluff, and I really liked it. I really liked the cinematography. Some of the shots were inspired. The audio is good. The acting is fantastic. I like how somehow Genoveva acts like she's drunk, like she's on coke. And then there's this this religious girl that, I don't know, makes me feel like maybe I don't know if she's purposely putting some elements of psychosis into the way she talks, but I get the idea that she's just going to blow at any point in time, because she's just always smiling, always pecky, and always, just always uppity. But I feel like there's something behind this girl that just hasn't come to the front yet. Before I forget, I know a lot of people enjoy this sort of content. I know I get a lot of comments sometimes, on Instagram and Twitter, where people tell me that they enjoy the show and they cannot wait for the next one. But if you are one of those people, you can support the channel by following me on Instagram or TikTok or IG. I'd appreciate it. The link will be in the description. So please, I'm not asking you to subscribe to the channel or like or comment today. If you enjoy this stuff, kindly follow me on my socials. Thank you very much. It helps a lot. Okay, back to the show. We have Rita Dominic and Joseph Benjamin. Joseph, and wait, isn't in the Bible we have Joseph as one brother and Benjamin is his other? Wow, this guy has like both of them as his name and surname. We also have we have Rita Dominic playing Shanice. I think, yeah, the acting in this stuff is good all around, and I actually like the acting from the white people, which is not usual in things like this, where the white people always act a bit awkward and a bit weird. But I really like the acting from the Evans in this show. I was not really expecting it to be good at all. I thought it to just be, they just put it there to make it look like an Oyibo Kiniko. But nope, they actually, especially the male, especially Dr. Evans himself, he really carries his role well, takes it seriously. All right, I think that will be all for this review. So far, great stuff to watch. I really recommend that you check it out. I hope I am able to watch the rest of it, because if I do, and if this video does well too, yeah, to be honest, and if video does well and I have to watch the other 2 episodes or 3 episodes, then that will probably be the next thing that I would upload. Else, maybe Suki or Finding Me. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and let me know what you think if you've seen it.